Hi y'all, this is Larry from Deep South Texas, and today we're going to take the Garden Roundup Challenge for 2018. I was invited to take this challenge by Gardener in MI, so thank you very much. Well, let's get started. So the challenge consists of a number of questions about the garden in 2018 and some of your plans for 2019. So the first question is, what was your best crop in 2018? Well, my best crop was tomatoes. We had tons and tons of tomatoes. The main reason is I planted so many tomatoes. In the previous year, my tomato harvest was very, very poor. So I overplanted in 2018, and I ended up with all kinds of tomatoes. My island in the kitchen was covered in tomatoes for 3 months. And I canned tomatoes till I was happy they stopped growing. So that was my best crop. The next question is, what was your worst crop in 2018? And my worst crop was definitely garlic. I harvested 0 garlic last year, or 2018. And it was also my worst crop in the year before that. In fact, these last 2 years have been so poor for me with garlic, I didn't even attempt to grow garlic in 2019. I'll try again someday, but I need to dedicate my garden space to something that will be a little bit more successful. And the next question is, what was your biggest challenge in 2018? Well, it has to do with YouTube. So my garden in the early spring, and I mean February and March, just looks terrific. I'm so far ahead of the rest of the gardeners that I follow on YouTube that I wanted to start my channel and show how well my garden was doing. But pretty soon, not too far into the year, I realized that my garden is almost always done at the end of May because it's just too hot. So I had to struggle. My challenge was to find something that I could grow in the garden in the heat of the summer, because I hadn't normally done that. And I did come up with sweet potatoes and okra and peanuts, and they all did real well. And the next question is, what will you do differently in 2019? Well, the plan was to not plant as many tomatoes, but I planted a bunch of tomatoes. I have a bunch of tomato seedlings coming on. They're not all planted yet, but I've got way more than I intended, so I'm going to have another big tomato year, I'm afraid. I already have tomatoes growing. We didn't get a frost this year, so I'm going to have tomatoes again next year, more than I wanted. The other plan is on green beans. I'm going to plant rattlesnake beans because they were fairly popular last year on the YouTube gardeners that I follow, and supposedly they can handle the heat pretty well. So that's my plan for 2019. So the next question is, what are your plans for 2019? And 2019 is going to be fairly similar to 2018. I am moving 2 raised beds that I have in the garden. I had them sort of under a tree because the shade in the summer is pretty important for a lot of the stuff I grow. But the tree just grew roots into those raised beds and made them unproductive as well. So I have moved one of them now, and I have potatoes planted in that bed, and then I have another bed that I'm going to move. It's the bed I had my dill in. I'm going to move that also away from under the tree. Other than that, pretty much everything will be the same. The next question is, what or who were your inspiration for 2018? And I have to say that my inspiration for 2018 for the garden came from Danny and Wanda at Deep South Homestead. They are in a climate that's fairly similar to mine, and they do a lot of great gardening and present a lot of how-tos on their channel. And because of them, I I grew sweet potatoes in 2018 for the first time, and also okra and peanuts. That all those ideas basically started with them. So thank you, Danny and Wanda. And the final part of the challenge is to nominate 3 other YouTubers to participate in the challenge. So my first nomination is Jim from Midwest Gardener. He is in Kansas, and he grows a variety of items and has an excellent channel. The next nomination is Bill's Allotment, 2 Plots of Heaven. And this is Bill and Val. They live in southern England. A very great gardening channel and fun to watch. And my third nomination is Backyard Self-Reliance. This is out of Oklahoma. It's a back to Eden type of gardener, and has some great content on his channel as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it if you subscribe, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will be leaving links to these channels I mentioned in the description below, so please go check them out as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.